السلام عليكم طلاب المرحلة الثانية للدراسة الصباحية والدراسة المسائية. هاي المحاضرة راح تكون عن قصيدة ويليام بليك بعنوان The Chimney Sweeper، عمال المداخن. Before talking about the poem, we need to talk about the poet. William Blake was poet and artist at the same time. He was born in London in 1757. He is an important figure of the Romantic age at that time, as a representative of his age and his age with the name as Romantic age. Before reading the text, the poem, and to interpret the lines, we need to talk about the general idea of this poem. The Chimney Sweeper, as a representative of Sir, as the poem is about the young chimney sweepers. The speaker tells us he gets involved in sweeping chimney sweep business. He says that his father had put him into the work as a chimney sweeper after the death of his mother. The speaker also recounts the story of his fellow chimney sweeper called Tom, who was hard when his head was shaved. The narrator counsels him and he goes to sleep, and I'm talking about Tom, that Tom goes to sleep. Tom had a dream in which he saw that all sweepers are in coffin. An angel comes and sets them all free. Then they play happily in the sun, and the angel tells Tom that he will have a heaven of his own. Next morning, when he wakes up, he decides to work hard because he believes that if he works hard, he will get a reward. This is the general idea of this poem, but there is themes behind this poem, the hidden message that the poet wants to convey for the readers. There is miserable life. He wants to talk about the misery, talk about the death, and to talk about hope. This is the main themes in this poem. As the poet wants to convey for the readers that there is more than one theme in this poem, we can divide the poem into three parts. The first part talking about the misery and death in the same times, and the second part talking about the hope of not to lose hope in our life. So the poem presents the miseries of children as a chimney sweeper and their commencement in life. It is through the mouth of the two young children the poets convey his idea that one should not lose hope. First, they are seen unhappy with their job, but later they accept their fate and having their vision, and somehow their life become easy for them. They believe that their hard work would surely put them or pay them in their long life. This is the main themes in this poem. Now we need to read the poem and to interpret the lines to understand it. So the poet started his poem to talk about the first speaker and to shift to the second speaker. When my mother died, I was very young. This is the first speaker. And my father sold me while yet my tongue still young, and my father sold me for what? To work as a chimney sweeper. Could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. In this line there's repetition. It is one of the literary devices that the poet used in this poem. In the first stanza, the poet wants to convey for the readers that the life of the chimney sweepers, it is just weeping. So, your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. This is the life of the chimney sweeper at that time. This is an image of the life of the chimney sweeper. There's little Tom Dicker who cried when his head. Now the poet shifted from the first speaker to the second speaker, and the first speaker talking about the second speaker. There's little Tom Dicker who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's back, was shaved, so I said, hush Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. In the second stanza, there's Tom, and what happened to Tom, that he was crying during shaving his head. And during shaving his head, the first speaker tried to make Tom patient and to be quiet as they are shaving his head. For when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. He want to talk about the innocence of the children at that time, that your innocence cannot be spoiled with the suit of the chimney sweeper. We are still children, and we still innocent, and we cannot lose our innocence. And so he was quiet, and that very night, and as Tom was sleeping, he had such a dream, such a sight, that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them looked up in coffins of black. In the third stanza, what happened that as Tom was quiet, and during the night he was sleeping, he had such a dream that thousands of sweepers, with all the names that they are with them, they are in their work, called Joe, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked in coffin. He want to convey for the readers that the miserable life of the children at that time, and to show us an image that all the children in black, like in the last line of the third stanza, where all of them looked up in coffins of black. This is in the dream of Tom, but the reality that all of them are black from up to down because of the suit inside the chimney. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Now we are shifting from the miserable life and death to the hope, as there is angel, and set them all free from the miserable life. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run. This is in the dream, but the reality is different. And wash in a river and shine in the sun. Then naked and white, all the bags left behind, all the life of the chimney, of the miserable life, it's behind them, because the bags or the tools that they are cleaning the chimney, this is the life of the chimney sweeper, but it is left behind them in their dreams. They rise upon clouds, they are and sport in the wind. They are like angels flying in the clouds and running in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. That if you good if you if, and the angel told Tom if he will be a good boy, he will get a reward, that he will have a heaven for his own. And so Tom awake, and we rose in the dark, return to the miserable life, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear them. Thank you.